You're seeing a lot of upside for tech in Q4. You actually believe that tech can move another 10% in Q4. What's the catalyst?
I mean, look, this is our second trip in Asia in the last 6 weeks. Demand's outstripping supply 15 to 1. So even though right now it starts with Godfather of AI, Jensen, Nvidia, this second, third, fourth derivative, it's just starting to play out in terms of AI. I think that is going to be the catalyst to tech stocks being up 10% plus this year, 20% next year. I think the AI party, still 9 p.m. with a party that doesn't end until 4 a.m.
Why does the party end at 4 a.m.? I mean, I don't even, this metaphor always cracks me up every time you do it. But on a serious note, you're saying demand is up. That's what's going to push the tech sector 10% more in Q4. Demand exactly for what? For chatbots, for chips? I mean, what is the real catalyst here?
I mean, if I look from a chip demand, 15 to 1 demand to supply. So if you see how it's all playing out, enterprises are lining up in terms of the AI revolution. Now we're just going to start to see the software, the use cases. That's where massive AI, Palantir, front and center. You look at names like Oracle, what I believe Salesforce.com, ServiceNow. So now that tidal wave of spend, $1 trillion of AI CapEx is coming to the shores of tech, but to me, in the next 2 to 3 years.
By the way, I interviewed Alex Karp a few weeks ago. We talked about you. We talked about you and some of your notes. He's a fan. He's a fan. I want to get to some more of your note. According to your note, for every dollar spent on Nvidia chips, there's an $8 to $10 spend in the tech sector. So I want to drill down on that. Is it in the tech sector or is it on AI capabilities? Because we just talked about utilities having their best quarter, since back in 2003. Isn't a lot of this spending on just physical infrastructure? Is that technically tech spending?
Sure. I think 8 to 10 is going to be from software, infrastructure. You talk about the energy piece. It speaks to our view that it's not just about Nvidia. It's not just about Microsoft. It's now about the multiplier. So what you're going to see really across software, I think the big catalyst going to tech over the next 12, 18 months, numbers are going to go up, I think, 15, 20% across the tech sector. And I think that's why a lot of the bears that are continue being those caves and hibernation modes, they come out talking about valuation. I think Street's underestimating growth. That's why, in my opinion, this tech bull market is still in the second inning.
Breaking news from the stock market could soon make waves in your portfolio. Imagine a leading tech giant's shares skyrocketing by 600% within the next decade. Former Boston Consulting Group executive Phil Panaro has sparked lively discussions and viral excitement with his jaw-dropping forecast for Nvidia shares. Panaro predicts that the artificial intelligence revolution and a significant shift from Web 2 to Web 3 will propel Nvidia to new heights. Stay tuned as we unravel this fascinating story. Investors are eagerly watching Nvidia, trying to decipher whether it could indeed be the golden ticket in their portfolios, given the evolving technological landscape. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
I got to be fair, though, Dan. You are one of the biggest bulls when it comes to tech overall. So you're always optimistic, in all fairness.
But let's just talk about scale. Me and you have talked for many years. There have been times where maybe there was some caution, where you could see some risk. But right now, in terms of just fundamentally what we see it across the board, not just in Asia, but around the world. Enterprises are lining up, and I think that's why it's about the next phases now of tech playing out in terms of this AI revolution.
All right, I want to talk about two different ETFs, the IGV, the software ETF, also the CIBR, cybersecurity. Those are two ETFs. A lot of investors I talk to, they say to look at those. Are we going to see these gains you're talking about for the tech sector in these two areas?
Oh, I think that's really front and center, because when you talk about use cases, it's about software, not just on names like Palantir and others, ServiceNow, Salesforce. I think the rest of tech, look at names like Adobe and others, and then you think about how you're going to protect that. Cybersecurity, that's where names like Zscaler or CrowdStrike. 1995 moment in tech, almost 1996, but it's not a 1999 bubble moment.
So IGV, CIBR, both up about 10% year to date. Where do they finish the year? If you think tech rises another 10%, what about these two specific areas?
15 to 20%. I think these are specifically areas where I think you have just a huge parabolic run into year-end given numbers.
So those two rise another 5%, but the tech sector 10%.
Oh yeah, because I think you're really going to see Mag 7. Okay. Big tech's going to continue leading this left lane going 90 miles an hour.
Phil Panaro, a former Boston Consulting Group executive, has set the stock market abuzz with his prediction that Nvidia shares could soar to $800 by 2030. If realized, this would represent a whopping 558.98% increase from its current price. While some might label Panaro's forecast as overly optimistic, He backs his claims with solid arguments anchored in the growing influence of artificial intelligence and the anticipated transition from Web 2 to Web 3. Panaro's foresight, deeply rooted in his extensive experience within the tech consulting space, provides a persuasive narrative that suggests a bright future for Nvidia investors. In an interview with Schwab Network, Panaro highlighted that Nvidia's revenue could witness a tenfold increase, shooting from $60 billion to $600 billion by 2030. He projects a huge increase explosion in Nvidia's stock following the release of its next-gen AI chip, Blackwell, expected in 2025. Panaro quipped, "That's actually the best case for why it's actually going to go up, because if you look at all the other customers they're not getting to, there's 490 Fortune 500 firms that haven't really adopted AI to the fullest because they don't understand it. It seems like the only thing keeping Nvidia from complete domination is the public understanding of AI itself. This shift toward broader AI comprehension and adoption could serve as a major catalyst in driving Nvidia's stock to unprecedented levels. Nvidia has already made significant strides in the tech realm by consistently pioneering technological innovation. CEO Jensen Huang has a knack for exploring $0 billion markets, sectors that are largely untapped but brimming with potential. This strategic focus has facilitated Nvidia's impressive growth, making it one of the world's most valuable companies. In addition, early tech investor James Anderson joined in the bullish outlook by predicting that Nvidia could reach a market capitalization of nearly $50 trillion within the next decade. Such predictions are not made lightly and often rest on rigorous data analysis and market trend evaluations. Nvidia's shares have enjoyed an inspiring 168% surge this year alone, pushing the company's market value past $3 trillion. However, with the tech sector often being labeled as overvalued, there have been some reservations. Keith Lerner, Truist chief strategist and CIO, expressed these sentiments by recently downgrading the tech sector from overweight to neutral. Yet, even Lerner acknowledges the long-term promise of AI. This dichotomy between short-term market reservations and long-term potential speaks to the complex dynamics that investors must navigate when considering Nvidia's stock. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market. So click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Back to the video.
You know, we think that the data center and the stuff that NVIDIA is doing is really the one that keeps shining.
If there's not increased competition, that's great news for Micron. You can say the same thing about NVIDIA, where they don't have increased competition. It's not necessarily good for a lot of the customers of those companies because it means they're going to be paying a lot for those chips, the ones that they can get a hold of. How do you game that out? Or is it all of this is fine because AI is so important and there's going to be so much investment in it?
Well, it depends on the component and the workload and whatnot. There's many things people use these chips for, but in the AI world, NVIDIA just has the technology, the cadence that people can rely on. They have the software. The time to revenue with NVIDIA is the best in the business. 19 days to revenue, basically, that you know what you're getting and you can set it up and go. So for AI, NVIDIA is the best game in town, really, for enterprises and most of the clouds. But some of the companies are doing their own chips, and so we watch that really carefully. And then on the DRAM and high bandwidth memory side, there's a different cast of characters. So, but it's good to see the data center demand, really ripping, and we're starting to see green shoots in servers too, just regular servers and storage. So. Those markets could really pick up now.
Okay, so let me run through your buys. IBM, Apple, Microsoft, Oracle, AMD, NVIDIA. Of all of these, Arista Networks, Broadcom is on there too, Dell. Of all of those, what's your favorite?
Well, a lot of them have run, a lot of them have crushed, and we pick our spots a little bit, but I'll tell you, NVIDIA is... I know it's a consensus long. I mean, we've been on it for a long time, but the signs we're getting out of Asia and the signs we're getting, into next year and the year after are still really good. So, occasionally you guys have folks on the show who go, "Oh, this is a bubble," and but when you do the bottoms up research, you're just like, "Oh my God!" Like it's coming.
The numbers are there. It makes sense.
The numbers are there, and it's only P to growth is 1. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And then people go, oh, their margins, it can't stay. And then you do the work and you're like, oh my God, it's going to be in the mid 70s. And like, you know, it's pretty compelling. So yeah, I think you got to buy that one right now.
Adding another layer to this narrative, Elon Musk aligns himself with Huang's vision of a future filled with AI-powered personal assistants that could be as ubiquitous and efficient as Star Wars. This shared vision underscores the transformative potential of AI technologies. Given Musk's track record with tech innovation, even the skeptics might be inclined to take a more favorable view. The endorsement from Musk, coupled with his visionary insights, lends additional credibility to Panaro's forecast and fuels investor enthusiasm. Jokingly put, investing in Nvidia seems analogous to buying stocks in electricity during the early 1900s, revolutionary and potent. The current limited penetration of AI within various corporate, municipal, and military sectors only adds fuel to the fire. If achieving even partial penetration in these markets, Nvidia's growth prospects are enormous. AI's transformative potential across different sectors ensures that Nvidia's technologies will be in high demand, leading to sustainable and exponential growth. Despite skepticism, Panaro remains undeterred and firmly believes in Nvidia's growth narrative. His confidence is rooted in the ongoing AI arms race among nations and the expected overhaul of city and government infrastructures transitioning to Web 3. While many other strategists might not share Panaro's optimism in full measure, the data speaks volumes. For instance, Nvidia's Blackwell chip could indeed be the tipping point, propelling Nvidia into a league of its own. As national governments and major corporations continue to invest heavily in AI, Nvidia is uniquely positioned to capitalize on this trend, further reinforcing Panaro's bullish outlook. Looking ahead, Nvidia continues to push the envelope with its innovative solutions. The company's focus on AI and the ever-growing applications of this technology across different sectors act as strong tailwinds. From healthcare to automotive, AI is revolutionizing processes, and Nvidia stands at the forefront of this change. Their advancements are not just limited to hardware, but extend to software with platforms like Nvidia AI Enterprise, which promises to simplify AI for enterprises around the world. This holistic approach to technology integration ensures that Nvidia remains an indispensable entity in the AI ecosystem. Additionally, Nvidia's GPU technology conference events often showcase groundbreaking developments, inspiring the next wave of AI researchers and developers. The company's ecosystem, which includes prominent partnerships and collaborations with universities and research institutions, bolsters their prospects. By fostering an environment of continuous innovation, Nvidia has positioned itself to remain a key player in the tech industry for years to come. The ongoing investment in R&D and the cultivation of a robust innovation culture highlight Nvidia's commitment to staying ahead of the curve. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
We're all, or many people in the equity market certainly are awaiting concrete evidence of use of generative AI in the enterprise. And as somebody who's consulting with so many of these kinds of companies, what can you tell us in terms of the progress being made there that is giving rise to the forecast that I just shared?
Yeah, it's a great question. When we're working with our clients, we really are seeing these AI use cases starting to take hold. It definitely is nascent in some areas, but we're seeing a lot of growth. Some specific examples: customer service and call centers. Companies are seeing, north of 20-30% savings when they're really integrating AI through their overall workflows. Content creation and marketing, 30 to 50% savings. Obviously, software development, which was one of the early use cases, and then also back office use cases. So we're starting to see our clients really get real value out of integrating these new AI tools and workflows into their productions, but we're still in the early days. I think there is, a lot of growth still to come, both in the use of this technology, and then we're going to see this technology expand, which really leads to that billion-dollar market opportunity.
As we weigh the evidence, one can't help but lean towards optimism regarding Nvidia's growth. We're witnessing Nvidia establish itself as a cornerstone in the AI revolution. The company remains one of the most valuable players in the market, with shares showing an upward trend that echoes the forecasts made by industry experts like Phil Panaro and James Anderson. Their collective insights paint a promising picture of Nvidia's future, suggesting that substantial gains lie ahead for those who invest wisely. Looking at the present scenario, Nvidia sits comfortably amidst high growth expectations. Reports suggest that Nvidia shares could see unprecedented growth, driven by advancements in AI and the broad adoption of Web3. If you've been on the fence about investing in Nvidia, let this be a nudge towards what could be a rewarding financial voyage. The synthesis of expert opinions and market analytics makes a compelling case for Nvidia as a powerhouse of future technological advancements. What are your thoughts on Nvidia's future? Do these projections excite you? Join the discussion and share your opinions on whether Nvidia's journey will culminate in stock prices reaching $800 or even beyond by 2030. Engaging with the community will provide diverse perspectives and further enrich our understanding of Nvidia's potential trajectory. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.